Listen close, because I'm going to tell you something the world won't sugarcoat. Life doesn't care about your feelings, your excuses, or your comfort. It's not out here playing fair. It's out here testing you, breaking you, pushing you to see how much you can really take. And if your mind is soft, if your spirit is fragile, this world will eat you alive. The streets don't care about your potential. The struggle don't care about your talent. The pain don't care about your dreams. All that matters is this: do you have a mind strong enough to endure, strong enough to fight, strong enough to rise when everything in you wants to quit? You see, the real battles aren't always out there with enemies, bills, bosses, circumstances. The real war begins in your head. That inner voice that whispers doubt, that fear that makes you hesitate, that weakness that tells you to stop when you know you got to keep going. That's the world's first weapon against you. And if you don't toughen your mind, the world won't just challenge you, it'll break you. But if you decide today, right now, to build mental armor, to face pain as your teacher, to embrace pressure as your trainer, nothing in this world can stop you. Mental strength is not some fancy concept you read about in books or hear from motivational speakers. It's survival. Out here, in the real world, where life doesn't care about your feelings or your comfort, being mentally weak is like walking into a storm without shelter. You can have all the money, talent, or resources. If your mind collapses under pressure, none of that will matter. The truth is, the world is designed to test you every single day. It will throw disappointments at you. It will hit you with failures. It will push you down and laugh in your face. And if your mind is soft, you will stay down. But when your mind is strong, you learn to get back up, no matter how hard you fall. That's why mental strength is not optional. It's not a luxury. It's survival. Think about it. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants happiness. How many people are willing to do what it takes to stay strong when the storms come? The world is full of people who had dreams, who had talent, who had passion. They gave up because the road got hard. They didn't lose because they weren't capable. They lost because their mind wasn't tough enough to keep going. You see, battlefield is not just out there in society, in business, or in relationships. The battlefield is inside your head. If your mind can't endure stress, you'll break. If your mind can't push through doubt, you'll quit. If your mind can't handle rejection, you'll shrink back into mediocrity. And that's how people lose the life they could have lived, not because they lacked opportunity, but because they lacked the toughness to survive the challenges. Mental strength is survival, because life is unpredictable. One day you're on top, and the next day everything falls apart. One moment you're winning, the next moment you're broke, abandoned, or left behind. The question is not whether life will hit you. It's guaranteed that it will. The question is, will you have the toughness to stand tall, to adapt, to push through the pain, and keep moving forward? Weak minds get crushed by uncertainty. Strong minds learn to thrive in it. Weak minds complain about the weight of life. Strong minds carry it and grow stronger. That's why survival doesn't belong to the smartest, the richest, even the most talented. It belongs to the toughest. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who made it through impossible odds. What separates them from the ones who gave up? It's not luck. It's not chance. It's the toughness of their mind. They looked at pain and said, I'm not stopping here. They faced rejection and said, this will not define me. They lost everything but refused to lose themselves. That's survival. That's mental strength. Without it, you can't handle success, even if you get it, because success comes with pressure, responsibility, and criticism. Without it, you can't handle failure, because one loss will crush your spirit. Without it, you can't handle relationships, because every disagreement will feel like the end of the world. Mental strength is not just about being strong during crisis. It's about being unshakable in every season of life. And here's the raw truth. No one is coming to save you when life gets tough. People might support you, encourage you, even stand by you for a while. But at the end of the day, it's your mind that will decide whether you survive or collapse. That's why the strongest people are not the ones who never cry or never feel pain. They are the ones who feel it fully but still rise every single time. Toughness doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means you don't let your emotions control your destiny. It means you build a mind so strong that even when the world tries to break you, you bend but you don't shatter. That's survival. That's why mental strength isn't a choice. It's the foundation that keeps you alive in a world that's built to break you. Discipline is the quiet force that builds armor around your mind, the invisible shield that protects you when the world comes swinging. People often mistake strength for physical power or loud confidence, but real strength is built in silence, in the small choices you make every single day when nobody is watching. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you lay down another layer of armor on your mind. That's how discipline works. It doesn't show up in a flash of glory. It builds slowly, brick by brick, routine by routine, until one day you realize that your mind is not fragile anymore. It becomes harder to break, harder to shake, because you've trained it through the weight of consistency. Think about what happens when you tell yourself you're going to do something and then you actually do it. Wake up early, train your body, stick to your grind, control your habits. Every single time you follow through, you teach your brain that your words matter. You build trust with yourself, and that trust is the foundation of toughness. On the other hand, every time you lie to yourself, every time you say you'll do something and then quit or delay, you weaken your own mind. You strip off the armor and leave yourself exposed. Weak mind is not built by bad luck. It's built by lack of discipline. A strong mind doesn't magically appear. It's forged in the furnace of daily self-control. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about preparation. Life is a battlefield, and if you step into it unprepared, you're going to get hurt. When you discipline yourself, you're not just repeating boring routines. You're sharpening your sword, polishing your shield, reinforcing your armor. It's easy to think discipline is restrictive, but in reality, discipline is freedom. The person who cannot control themselves will always be controlled by the world, but the person who can command their own actions, their own habits, their own time, they are untouchable. That's the real armor. Discipline provides freedom from weakness, freedom from fear, freedom from dependency on others to carry you through life. Now, understand this, discipline hurts at first. Waking up when your body wants to sleep, working when your mind wants to rest, resisting temptations when the world is offering you easy pleasures. That's not comfortable. Toughness is not built in comfort, it's built in struggle. Every moment you choose discipline over laziness, strength over excuses, progress over pleasure, you harden your mind. And after enough repetition, what once felt heavy becomes light. The same pain that once made you quit now becomes fuel. That's when you know the armor is forming, because things that used to break you no longer have power over you. Discipline also teaches resilience. Imagine training every day, keeping promises to yourself, staying consistent no matter the circumstance. When life throws chaos your way, you're already trained for it. You don't panic, you don't crumble, because your mind has been conditioned to handle discomfort. People who lack discipline collapse under pressure because they've never trained their minds to endure small hardships. Those who live with discipline, who push through even when it's inconvenient, are prepared for the bigger storms. Discipline is not about being strong for one day. It's about building strength that lasts a lifetime. The armor you build today will protect you tomorrow when the battles are greater. And here's the powerful truth. Discipline is self-respect. When you live with discipline, you're telling yourself, I matter enough to stay committed. I matter enough to stay consistent. I matter enough to carry through. That's why disciplined people walk differently. They talk differently. They carry themselves with a quiet confidence because they know they can trust themselves in any situation. That trust is unshakable, and that's what makes their mind untouchable. Without discipline, your mind is vulnerable. It's soft. It's exposed to every distraction and every setback. But with discipline, you become like steel, unbreakable, unstoppable, unmovable. So understand, the armor of your mind is not gifted to you. It is built by you through daily choices, through self-control, through the promises you keep even when nobody is watching. Every moment of discipline is another strike of the hammer, another piece of armor being forged, another layer of toughness added, and over time, the world will realize that it can't break you. Because you already trained yourself not to break. Pain is one of the greatest teachers life will ever give you. But most people run from it because they mistake it for punishment. They see pain as something unfair, something cruel, something that's meant to destroy them. But the truth is, pain is not here to punish you. It's here to shape you, to sharpen you, to prepare you for the battles ahead. Every successful person you admire has scars. They've been through loss, rejection, failure, betrayal, and disappointment, and yet they're still standing. Why? Because instead of running from pain, they learn from it. They let pain teach them lessons no book or lecture could ever provide. And those lessons became the foundation of their strength. When you avoid pain, you avoid growth. Think about your muscles. If you never challenge them, if you never lift weights, they stay weak. It's the same with your mind. If you never face struggles, if you never endure hardship, your mental strength will remain fragile. Pain is the weight you lift in the gym of life. And every time you push through it, your mind gets stronger. Without pain, you stay soft. Without pain, you stay unprepared. Without pain, you stay weak in a world that will demand toughness from you, whether you like it or not. That's why the people who grow the most are not the ones who had it easy. The ones who went through difficulties and refused to quit. Pain is also honest. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. When you fail at something, pain tells you the truth about where you stand. When someone betrays you, pain reveals who really belonged in your circle. When life breaks something you thought was secure, pain teaches you not to take it for granted. These lessons hurt, but they save you from making the same mistakes again. That's why those who embrace pain end up wiser than those who run from it. Pain is not your enemy, it's your trainer, and every session with it makes you tougher. If you pay attention, most people try to numb their pain, cover it up, or distract themselves from it. They turn to quick fixes, cheap thrills, or temporary escapes, but all that does is delay growth. Pain ignored becomes weakness magnified. You can't escape it forever, because the moment life really tests you, that unhealed pain will come back and break you. But when you face it, when you let yourself feel it fully, when you look it in the eye and decide to keep moving, that's when pain loses its power to destroy you. Instead of breaking you, it starts to build you. Instead of holding you back, it starts to push you forward. That's the difference between those who collapse under pain and those who rise because of it. Another truth about pain is that it creates empathy and perspective. When you've been through struggles, you don't just become stronger for yourself. You become a source of strength for others. You understand what it feels like to hurt, to fail, to be rejected. So you can inspire others by showing them it's possible to keep going. Pain connects people. It humbles the proud and it lifts those who are willing to learn from it. If you've been through real pain, you carry a different energy. You're not easily shaken. You're not easily shaken. You're not easily fooled. You're not easily broken because you've already faced storms and survived. That survival becomes your confidence. Pain also destroys illusions. It strips away the lies we tell ourselves, the excuses we hide behind, the comfort zones we cling to. Pain forces you to face reality. And in that process, you discover who you truly are. You don't find out how tough you are when everything is going smoothly. You find out when nothing goes your way and you still refuse to give up. That's why pain is so powerful. It reveals your limits and then it pushes you past them. It shows you how much more you are capable of than you thought. Without it, you'd never know your true strength, so don't see pain as punishment. See it as preparation. Every failure is training your resilience. Every rejection is toughening your heart. Every disappointment is building your patience. Every struggle is sharpening your focus. Pain is the tuition you pay for the lessons that make you unbreakable. People who never face pain live shallow lives, but those who embrace it live deeper, stronger, and more meaningful lives. The next time you feel pain, don't just ask, why me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because once you shift your perspective, pain will stop being something that breaks you and start being the very thing that makes you unstoppable. Your mind is a battlefield, and the loudest weapon on that field is your inner voice. That voice is with you when you wake up in the morning. It's with you when you're alone at night. It's with you when nobody else can see what you're going through. And the truth is, that voice can either be your greatest enemy or your greatest ally. The problem is most people let that voice run wild, feeding them doubt, excuses, fear, and negativity until they believe it. A weak mind listens to every lie that inner voice whispers, but a tough mind learns how to control it, command it, and make it serve the vision instead of destroying it. Think about how many times you've wanted to step into something new, maybe chase a dream, take a risk, push yourself beyond your limits. And the very first thing that spoke wasn't the world. It wasn't your friends. It wasn't even your enemies. It was your own inner voice telling you that you can't, that you're not ready, that you'll fail. That voice has killed more dreams than failure ever has. And if you don't learn how to control it, You'll end up sabotaging yourself before life even gets the chance to test you. Controlling your inner voice doesn't mean silencing it. It means redirecting it, turning that whisper of doubt into a roar of belief. A tough mind knows how to shut down the excuses and replace them with commands that push forward. The inner voice is shaped by what you feed it. If all you give your mind is negativity, comparison, fear, and weakness, your inner voice will echo that back to you. That's why people who constantly surround themselves with toxic influences end up with toxic self-talk. On the other hand, if you feed your mind discipline, truth, faith, and courage, your inner voice starts to mirror that. Controlling it means training it daily like a muscle so that when pressure comes, the first thing you hear isn't panic, but calm. The first thing you hear isn't quit, but fight. The first thing you hear isn't you can't, but keep going. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens by deliberate conditioning of your thoughts. When you command your inner voice, you stop being reactive and start being proactive. Instead of waiting for life to push you around, you start pushing yourself in the right direction. You tell yourself, I'm capable. I'm built for this. I will not fold. And even when you don't fully believe it yet, speaking it begins to rewire your mind. That's how powerful the inner voice is. It shapes your reality before reality even shows up. People with weak minds let their inner voice dictate their actions. People with strong minds dictate to their inner voice. They turn it into a soldier, not a saboteur. Controlling your inner voice also means recognizing that fear and doubt will always show up. They don't have to control you. You can acknowledge them without obeying them. A tough mind doesn't pretend the negative voice doesn't exist. It hears it and chooses differently. It says, I hear the fear, but I won't let it decide my next move. That level of control is what separates those who collapse under pressure from those who thrive in it. Because no matter what the world says, if your inner voice is aligned with your strength, nothing can truly break you. But if your inner voice is aligned with your weakness, the smallest challenge will feel like an impossible mountain. And let's be real, the world will always have enough noise to bring you down. People will doubt you, criticize you, even laugh at you. None of that will matter if your inner voice is strong. If the voice inside you is louder than the voices around you, you can't be stopped. But if the voices outside are louder than the one inside, you'll always be pulled away from your path. That's why controlling your inner voice is the foundation of mental toughness. Because at the end of the day, when the lights are off, when nobody's cheering, when nobody's clapping, the only voice you'll hear is the one inside your head. And if that voice is not on your side, the world doesn't even need to break you. You'll break yourself. Pressure is something most people run from. But what they don't realize is that pressure is what creates greatness. It's easy to shine when life is smooth, when nobody's demanding anything from you, when the road is wide open. But the real test comes when the walls start closing in, when expectations are high, when the weight feels unbearable. That's where most people crack, but that's also where diamonds are formed. Pressure is not your enemy. It's the fire that forges you. Without it, you stay ordinary. With it, you transform into something rare, something unbreakable, something valuable. When life presses you, it's trying to show you what you're really made of. You don't find out your strength and comfort. You find it out when you're stretched, when you're challenged, when you're pushed to the edge of your limits. Weak minds see pressure as a burden. They say, why me? Why now? This isn't fair. Strong minds see pressure as training. They say, this is my chance. This is where I grow. This is where I prove myself. The same situation that destroys one person can build another. And the only difference is how they handle pressure. That's why you can't pray for an easy life. You have to pray for a strong mind, because the world will never run out of pressure. Pressure also reveals character. Anybody can act confident when there's no challenge. But when the heat rises, when deadlines approach, when responsibilities stack up, the real version of you shows up. Some people panic, some people quit, some people collapse. Those who are tough turn that pressure into focus. They use it to sharpen their instincts. They let it push them into levels of performance they never thought they had. Diamonds are created because carbon was put under extreme pressure and refused to crumble. That's the same way your mind becomes tough, by enduring pressure without breaking. Every time you push through stress, every time you handle weight that others run from, you're proving to yourself that you're built like a diamond. Most people want success. They forget that success itself is pressure. The higher you climb, the more eyes are on you, the more responsibility you carry, the more criticism you face. If you can't handle pressure at the bottom, you'll never survive at the top. That's why pressure isn't just preparing you for today, it's preparing you for tomorrow. Every tough situation you endure is training you for the bigger stages of life. Pressure is not there to stop you, it's there to stretch you, to expand your capacity, to prove that you can handle more than you think. Without pressure, you'd never grow into the person capable of holding the success you dream of. But here's the thing. Pressure feels heavy in the moment. It makes your chest tight. It makes your mind race. It makes you doubt yourself. That's natural. But the tough ones know how to breathe through it, how to stay calm in the storm, how to use the energy of pressure to fuel performance instead of collapse. That's a skill. And like any skill, it's built through practice. The more you expose yourself to difficult situations, the more pressure becomes familiar and the less it controls you. Over time, what once made you crumble will feel like nothing because your mind has adapted. That's how toughness is built, through repeated exposure to pressure until it no longer scares you. Pressure also teaches humility. It reminds you that you don't have everything figured out, that you're still learning, still growing, still being shaped. It strips away arrogance and forces you to stay grounded. But at the same time, it gives you confidence because every time you survive pressure, you walk away knowing you're stronger than before. That combination of humility and confidence is what makes tough minds unstoppable. They don't underestimate the challenge, but they also don't underestimate themselves. They respect the weight, but they refuse to let it crush them. That's the mindset that pressure builds in you if you let it. So don't run from pressure. Don't wish it away. Embrace it. Lean into it. Understand that every ounce of weight you carry is preparing you for something bigger. Pressure is life's way of asking, how bad do you want it? How strong are you willing to become? If you can stand tall under pressure, if you can keep moving forward while others fold, then nothing in this world can truly stop you. Because pressure doesn't just reveal diamonds, it makes them shine brighter than anything else. Mental toughness is not something you pick up once and keep forever. It's a daily choice, a discipline you commit to over and over again. Too many people think strength comes from one big act of courage, one breakthrough moment, one massive victory. But the truth is, toughness is forged in the little decisions you make every single day, in the habits you build, in the discipline you practice when nobody is clapping for you. Every day, you're either adding to your strength or subtracting from it, and the difference comes down to the choices you make. That's why toughness is not a gift, it's not luck, it's not something reserved for a chosen few. It's a lifestyle, a mindset, a deliberate path that you walk daily. The reality is, life won't stop testing you. Every morning when you wake up, you face a choice. Do you take the easy road or the hard one? Do you give in to comfort or do you push yourself a little more? Mental toughness grows when you repeatedly choose the path that challenges you, the one that forces you to stretch, the one that demands discipline. Skipping that workout once might not seem like much. Hitting snooze one morning might feel harmless. Letting yourself slide just this time might feel like nothing. But every time you do that, you're training your mind to accept weakness. On the other hand, every time you push yourself to follow through, even in the small things, you're training your mind to fight, to endure, to stay strong. Those daily decisions compound, and over time, they shape the kind of person you become. Mental toughness isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. You will slip. You will fail. You will fall short sometimes. But the key is choosing to get back up again and again. That choice builds resilience because it teaches your mind that setbacks are not the end. Toughness is in the comeback, in the refusal to stay down, in the decision to keep moving even when you don't feel like it. Every time you make that choice, you add another layer of strength to your character. People look at strong minds and think they were born that way. But what they don't see is the countless moments those people chose toughness when it would have been easier to give up. That's what makes them unshakable. The accumulation of daily choices that others refused to make. Another truth about toughness being a daily choice is that it requires self-awareness. You can't toughen your mind if you're lying to yourself about your habits, your effort, your excuses. Every day you have to be honest. Am I feeding my strength or am I feeding my weakness? That honesty is uncomfortable, but it's necessary because the mind will always try to take the easy way out. It will always try to trick you with excuses. And the only way to overcome that is to consciously choose discipline over comfort. That means deciding to face challenges head on instead of avoiding them, deciding to control your emotions instead of letting them control you, deciding to rise above negativity instead of sinking into it. Those are choices. Not accidents. The beauty of making toughness as a daily choice is that over time, it becomes your default. At first, it feels forced. You have to drag yourself out of bed, push yourself through resistance, fight against laziness. But after enough repetition, it becomes who you are. You no longer debate whether you'll quit, whether you'll keep your word, whether you'll push through, because the answer is already decided. Your mind has been trained to be tough, and that training shows up automatically. That's the reward of daily choices. They create habits, and habits create character. What once felt impossible becomes natural. You built the muscle of toughness was one choice at a time, and understand this. Mental toughness is not glamorous most of the time. It doesn't always look like big victories or heroic moments. It looks like staying calm in traffic instead of losing your temper, choosing focus over distraction, staying disciplined when nobody is watching, controlling your inner voice when it wants to spiral into negativity. These small acts are what build the foundation of toughness, and they prepare you for the bigger battles. When the storms come, and they always do, you'll be ready, not because you suddenly became strong in that moment, but because you've been making yourself strong every single day. That's what people miss. The battle is won in the daily choices long before the crisis arrives. So toughness is not an event. It's not a one-time decision. It's a continuous commitment. Every day you wake up with the opportunity to strengthen your mind or weaken it. Every action either builds your resilience or erodes it. And the ones who rise above, the ones who can't be broken, are not those who waited for toughness to magically appear, but those who chose it over and over again until it became part of their identity. That's why mental toughness is not a destination. It's a decision you keep making one day at a time. And when it all comes down to it, truth is simple. You can either let the world shape you into its victim, or you can rise up and shape yourself into a warrior. Every trial you face, every setback you endure, every disappointment that cuts you deep is an invitation to grow tougher, sharper, stronger. Life doesn't hand out trophies for weakness. It rewards those who stand firm when storms hit, those who refuse to fold when the weight gets heavy, those who turn pain into power and scars into strength. Your mind is the gatekeeper of your destiny, and if you don't build it strong, everything else will fall apart. But if you master your thoughts, if you refuse to let negativity, fear, or defeat run your life, then nothing, no person, no problem, no obstacle can break you. So I leave you with this: toughen your mind, because the world will test you every single day. Don't just survive, dominate. Don't just exist, rise. You've got everything you need inside of you, but only if you choose to unlock it and use it to unlock it and use it. Good luck on your journey. May your battles build you and never break you. And thank you for listening with the heart of a fighter.